This chart shows an impossible contradiction. The rising line is Adobe achieving its most profitable year ever, pulling in $23.8 billion. But look at the second line. Over that same period, Adobe's stock price violently crashed by 65%, completely defying the wider tech boom. To understand why Wall Street is panicking, you must remember how people used to feel about this company. Adobe software was a safe, trusted standard. You paid a single upfront price, and in return you received lifelong ownership of the tools that defined digital art. That trust started with founders John Warnock and Charles Geschke. They built a digital empire through genuine innovation. By creating the invisible language of PostScript, inventing the PDF, and acquiring Photoshop, they made their software an indispensable requirement for anyone touching a computer. But try finding a tutorial on how to use their latest features today. You're far more likely to stumble across millions of views on videos explaining how to escape their ecosystem entirely. This disconnect suggests the market has identified a major flaw in Adobe's strategy. Wall Street is pricing in a future where a captive audience is no longer a guaranteed revenue stream. The modern trap was set in 2013. Adobe announced that Creative Suite 6 would be the last version anyone could ever buy outright. They replaced it with a service called Creative Cloud, permanently killing software ownership for millions of users. This graph shows the financial reality of that shift. A designer used to pay a single payment of around $2,600 to own the old master collection. Under the modern subscription model, users pay up to $70 a month. That comes out to over $840 a year, meaning every 3 years of renting costs the same as owning the entire suite outright used to. Over a 40-year career, assuming they continually raise prices like they have historically, a single designer will hand Adobe up to $100,000. That is a mortgage down payment, just for the privilege of opening the tools needed to do your job. Economists call this rentier capitalism. In this arrangement, a company stops earning money by offering competitive new features to win you over. Instead, they act like a digital landlord, extracting monthly rent by controlling the property you rely on. By forcing users to rent tools that hold their proprietary files hostage, Adobe engineered an inescapable financial trap. The day you stop paying is the day you lose access to your life's work. To keep people in that trap, Adobe relied heavily on dark patterns. When a user signed up, the website defaulted them into a plan called Annual Paid Monthly. It looked exactly like a flexible month-to-month subscription, but hidden in the fine print was a locked year-long contract. Trying to cancel meant navigating a deliberate labyrinth of confusing menus and discount offers. If a user actually found the final button before their year was up, Adobe slammed them with a massive early termination fee, sometimes costing hundreds of dollars just to walk away. These extraction tactics became so aggressive that in 2024, the Department of Justice and the FTC sued Adobe for trapping customers with hidden fees and a deliberately painful cancellation process. Adobe ultimately paid a $150 million settlement. Adobe fortified this system for decades, ruthlessly buying out and then entirely burying viable alternatives like Macromedia's Freehand. Adobe maintained its market dominance by systematically dismantling the exits, leaving users with no choice but to stay within an increasingly expensive ecosystem. But that strategy of swallowing threats whole has finally hit a wall. When a modern, highly capable rival named Figma started eating into their design market, Adobe reached for the usual playbook and offered to buy them for $20 billion. This time, regulators in the US, the UK, and the EU actively lined up to block the acquisition, citing severe concerns over eliminated competition. The deal completely collapsed, forcing Adobe to hand Figma a massive $1 billion penalty for nothing at all. Right as their monopoly grip slipped, they pushed their captive audience over the edge. A mandatory 2024 update to their terms of service demanded access to users' personal work to train automated AI systems, instantly destroying whatever shred of trust remained among working professionals. And suddenly, the trapped audience had a way out. Canva acquired the Affinity design suite and offered it for free, while Blackmagic's DaVinci Resolve rapidly undercut Premiere by providing professional-grade editing without the suffocating rent. A lethal combination of regulatory blocks, an infuriated user base, and sudden, cheaper alternatives finally shattered Adobe's aura of invincibility. Which brings us to the ultimate irony of Adobe's crisis: generative AI. For 30 years, Adobe relied heavily on skill scarcity. Their software made complex tasks possible, but the tools were difficult to master, making professional editors highly valuable. Generative AI effectively breaks Adobe's historical model by making difficult creative tasks effortless for anyone with a prompt. In a panic, Adobe aggressively shoved their own Firefly AI into their apps to justify hiking subscription prices. In doing so, they allowed users to generate endless cheap visuals, effectively cannibalizing their own highly lucrative stock image market. AI provided a massive capital injection for giants like Meta and Microsoft. For Adobe, the technology represents a direct threat, as it automates the very creative labor the company's tools were designed to facilitate. This is exactly why Wall Street has abandoned them. Those record profits are built on an obsolete trap. Once a technological shift opens the gates and removes the barrier to entry, a captive, resentful audience will inevitably flee. And when they do, the digital landlord is left with nothing.